The fight to protect democracy is an everyday battle, and the new book, Democracy in Retrograde, How to Make Changes Big and Small in Our Country and Our Lives, serves as a self-help guide for getting involved in politics and saving democracy, and maybe saving your sanity in the process, y'all. Joining us now are the co-authors of that book, Sami Sage, the co-founder and chief brand officer at Betches Media. I love Betches, by the way, Sami, as you know. And Emily Amick, lawyer and former counsel to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. So, yay, book!
Yeah. No, absolutely a book. In fact, Publishers Weekly referred to it as a smart pulp culture inflected guide to civic engagement. I like that. There's a lot of talk right now, Sami, about what is democracy? What does it mean to us? Oh my God, it's so heavy, it's so weighty. I don't know. You both are looking to engage citizens to reimagine themselves as part of this democracy story. Talk to us a little bit about that aspect of it in responding to people who say or believe this is bigger than anything I can handle.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't wrong when they feel hopeless or helpless in the situation. But what we really wanted to lay out here is a paradigm to help them change the way that they feel about politics. And we encourage people to start really local, to start really small. And this book really has a bunch of exercises to help you figure out what your values are, what your personality is, what your skills are, what you're passionate about. And then it prescribes, different ideas for how people can get involved in their communities, in civic life. And it doesn't always have to look hyper political. I think there's this idea that the only way to get involved is by, text banking or working on a campaign. But in reality, politics and civics is just about the way we all live our lives in community, and we're hoping that this will help people make a paradigm shift in the way they think about themselves. We think about self-help as like, how can I be a better spouse, or how can I be a better parent or sibling or friend? But people don't really think about that relationship that we all have to the collective, like just because we coexist here, what's owed to us and what's owed to each other. And this is really meant to help people think about and find the way that they can get involved in that, so that we can hopefully have an election with turnout over 70% and see what Americans really want for their future.
That's a good point.
Emily, I love those quizzes. They remind me of the women's magazine quizzes I grew up taking. There's an idea that a lot of women get, certainly not the four of us, but that they are not informed enough to talk about politics, or that somehow talking about politics in a social setting is uncouth. What would you say to women who feel that they are opting out of the conversation for either of those reasons?
Yeah, so the first thing that I would say is you already know all you need to know. You know your values, you know who you care about, you know what your kids need, what your friends need. You already know all of that, so you have what you need to get started and get engaged in civic life. And the second thing that I would say is that your silence is a political action. By not getting involved, by not speaking up, you're in fact giving the people who want to take away our rights, who want to disenfranchise voters, who want to empower corporations to pollute our rivers, you're empowering them and handing over your power to them. So by speaking up, you are really stepping into your civic power and your ability to sort of help transform this country and help save democracy.
I love that. Yes, your silence is actually, look, people, I think this point about not knowing exactly what to say is what hems people up and holds them back. And I think a lot of folks believe they need to be, Emily, a political professional, right? People will see this and they're like, oh, she worked for Chuck Schumer. Of course she knows what she's talking about. But I am not as, what about the people that are watching this at home who say, I'm not a political professional, I want to get engaged and involved, I hear you talking about self-care, and for some of them, their self-care is to tune out until they actually have to be tuned in. What do you say to those folks?
We don't need politics and civic engagement to be a biannual freakout. It needs to be a daily habit. So if the news that you are consuming, I'm sure it's not MSNBC, but it's maybe outrage politics on social media, if that is making your blood pressure raise so much that you end up checking out, that means it's not good. And one of the things we have in the book is a worksheet to help you audit your news diet. Because the goal is to figure out how to pull in information, because being informed is a key component. But you want to make sure that you're pulling in information that helps you become more politically active and makes you want to get engaged. So maybe there's a local newsletter that you want to start getting, so you can find out out what's happening at your kid's school. Maybe it's figuring out which newsletters, which journalists you want to follow on social media. There's so many different ways to get, and we want to make sure, one of the things about this book is there's no specific action that I can tell you that applies to everybody across the board. So the book walks you through figuring out what your civic action plan is, so it's meaningful to you and sustainable for you.
I love that.
Sammy, in the book, you guys talk about civic engagement as a form of self-care. What does that mean? What does that look like?
So we also tie this to the idea that we are all going through a loneliness epidemic. Yes. And part of that is because people are so siloed. We're getting the simulation of relationships from our digital, online contacts, but the real relationships that make, life, that improve people's quality of life and helps them feel supported and cared for and helps you feel like you are doing something for other people are those real interpersonal, in-person relationships. And, part of the irony is that Emily and I actually met online. But, what we want people to understand is that it's not that it has to, everything online does not have to be negative or, blood pressure spiking. But cultivating intentionality around, trying to get off your phone, be involved with your neighbors, the idea of rebuilding this social trust is ultimately something that will help all of us. There's this idea that autocracy is really just a bunch of atomized individuals who have all sort of had to cede themselves to the state, and they don't have this interpersonal identity. They don't have these connections. There's a reason that autocrats actually try to monitor and map people's relationships. It's because friendship and relationships and contacts can be very dangerous to an autocrat. And so when we are involved citizenry and we are interconnected with each other, we're speaking to each other about our issues, which is actually the most effective way of changing people's minds and increasing voter turnout. When we are engaged with each other, we are not only helping the loneliness epidemic, we are helping democracy and our own personal quality of life as well.
Sammy, Emily, the book, I love it so much. One of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. A perfect gift for your friend who is super engaged or your friend who is ready to check out. It is called Democracy in Retrograde.
I want one.
Sammy Sage, Emily Emick, you can have one.
I got
one
two
at home.
here, Michael. I have two. I have one for you as well.
Thank you.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.